Hi, this is David with EV World News. We're talking about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. I'm in the studio today with our founder, Bill Moore. How's it going, Bill? Oh, yeah, don't be silent. Oh, you muted yourself. You are muted. That is really funny. We were having all kinds of technical difficulties today. And so I thought you were trying to prank me. You're good
No,
now. You're good now.
weird. It was run, by the way, it was running the intro twice.
Oh, that's that's kind of entertaining too. Well, at least I know how
Uh,
to speak
it's not
English
been a
today.
good morning.
Yeah, we've certainly had our issues today. So, anyways, you know, like I always say, technology keeps making our lives easier.
Yeah,
Anyways,
right.
so let's look at this. Our first topic today, we're going to talk about General Motors and
Yeah.
what kind of, throwing out in left field is Mary Barra putting us in now. And you know, it's funny because they've been talking about this all EV strategy. Now all of a sudden they're talking about bringing back plug-in hybrids. And this is oh, let me see if I can get us back here to where we were.
It's got another screen up there.
Oh,
Sorry, folks, but we really seriously need a 20-year-old tech here to.
no, I know. Well, let me
There we
see.
go.
We'll get it back. We'll get it back. Yeah, so we had some technology working there, and the technology didn't like us. But anyways, so GM reverses its all-in strategy, and they're going to bring back the Chevy Volt. Now, the Chevy Volt was a really good selling plug-in hybrid electric vehicle for GM. And by plug-in hybrid, that means, you can charge it at home, and then when you need it, the gas engine will kick on. And it had a feature that if you don't use the gas engine, that it runs for at least 15 minutes every month just to keep the thing healthy. I used to think it was because of the gas, but I've had people say it had more to do with the engine just needs to be run to make
Yeah, it's
sure that
probably
it's
a
in
combination of both. I know
good
they had
shape.
the original version, you had to burn premium gasoline in the Generation One version of the Volt. I don't know if that was required in the Generation Two version, which is what the car we're seeing right here.
Yeah, so Mary Barra said during a quarter four earnings call that our forward plans include bringing our plug-in hybrid tech to select vehicles in North America. That GM aims to eliminate its light-duty vehicle emissions by 2035, but said that hybrids will fill in the gaps where needed from a compliance perspective. She didn't specify which segments they may occupy, but going by GM's history, they'll probably be, oh, this is funny, brilliantly engineered and utterly neglected by marketing. Oh, this is bad. I actually know the guy who was responsible for the marketing on this vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Um, I'm not sure what to say about that. So get ready to scoop up a Chevy Volt plug-in hybrid EV or whatever instead of a used Blazer EV. Yeah, I've told you before. I really think that GM has intentionally made ugly EVs so that people will just buy gas cars.
Yeah.
And if they looked cooler, I think they'd have a better thing. And that's kind of the whole reason why I think Tesla and Hyundai do so well is their EVs actually look
They've
decent
got they've put some nice
at
touches in. I
at
actually,
lower price points.
yeah, I've actually looked at buying a second generation Volt, so that I could basically downsize the family from the two cars we have now, one of which is an older Prius, and the other which is the Fiat 500e. And I could downsize, then get rid of those two cars, and then have, because the Volt had a EV range of better than 40 miles, which is more than I generally put on in a day running the Fiat.
Right.
So and then of course if we want to take a longer trip, go see the Chiefs down in Kansas City, or go skiing in the Alps. No, down out at Crescent, or whatever. That we could do that in the same car. I think that's the appeal of it. I mean, that even sort of appeals to me. Um,
I want to see
they
GM
start
buy.
making them.
I want to see GM buy out Aptera and start making the Apteras.
Oh well, that the
That
yeah.
would be the thing they should do. You
I
know,
think somebody's going to do that eventually. I think somebody's going to wake up and say, "Hey, this is really a good idea. A car that goes 1,000 miles,
they have so
on
many
solar
pre-orders.
only." Yeah.
They have so many pre-orders, and the fact they're not manufacturing them is just crazy. But
Well, it's new technology, and they're a small, underfunded company.
uh, Barra went on to say, the quicker you get to our goal of zero emissions, the better, and EVs get you there faster. So why dedicate a lot of capital and engineering in a segment that doesn't get you to the end game? We know how to do the end game. My only thing with that, and I see, I understand everybody wants to switch to EVs really fast, but the plugins are such an easier try it, see how it works out, and decide if then it's like, well, I really didn't use any gas anyways. And I think that's really, you know, I guess I'd like to see some have a little more maybe than 40 miles on the battery, but maybe 50, 60. But even then, it's still not a huge difference in what you're looking at. GM's done well with the Bolt. They used to do okay with the Volt, which was really strange that they decided to drop it. They just don't have a lot to choose from there. And that's kind of a, interesting, take. Maybe they'll do some more vehicles. Because right now, obviously, the leader in the field is um, the uh, is Toyota. Bill seems to be having some technical problems. Bill, just come back in when you can. All right. All right. Do what you can. Bye. All right. Bill's having some technical issues. But, anyways, I'll continue on with what we've got going on for articles today. So, my next topic today is on the Hyundai Ioniq 5. And this is one that where I live in Nebraska, it really didn't see many of these, but it's a top seller off the lots as dealers prep for EV growth. It's a decent looking car. I think Hyundai and Kia have done a good job of making vehicles that look good. And Hyundai dealerships modernizing as the brand looks to build upon its growth in the EV market. The Ioniq 5 is a top seller at some dealers. New vehicles rolling out, including the Ioniq 7 SUV. They've got the whole gamut covered. Now, let's see. Oh, Kevin Riley, Hyundai National Dealer Council, said he sold his first Hyundai in 1987. Wow, I didn't even know they'd been around that long in the US. So the South Korean automaker sold 269,000 EVs last year. So they're growing in that space, and they're number two overall in the U.S. in the EV space. Let's see. In the U.S., Hyundai's largest sales market, the automaker with Kia blew past Ford and GM, become number two in 2023. The Ioniq 5 was the sixth best selling EV in the US last year, climbing from seventh the year before. Dealers are doubling down on a healthy demand for EVs, and this dealership in Washington D.C. has seen 20 to 25% growth.
1, 2, 3.
Well, you're back, Bill, sort of. Let me see if I can get you back
Nope.
on the screen here. There we go. I hear you okay. So, anyways, you can talk. You may not. Oh, he doesn't hear us. Well, this should make things interesting. Anyways,
Why?
I took him off the stage, and we'll continue with the episode. Certainly makes things uh, different. Anyways, but back to the Hyundai. The spike in EV sales may not stay on its current slope. It's going to still be a rapid adoption. Once a customer gets in an EV and starts driving it, there's almost no chance they'll go back to an internal combustion engine vehicle. This is one of the things that we get a lot of doubters, but it's just a different experience driving in an electric vehicle that it's hard to comprehend how much of a change it is. The automaker expects to become operational ahead of schedule as soon as the third quarter in terms of their new $5.5 billion EV and battery mega plant in Georgia. They expect, let's see, 100, the foundation work was almost complete, and its new facility will have the capacity to build around 300,000 EVs annually here in the United States as it looks to extend its leadership in the market. One of the biggest reasons for the expected growth is the first three-row electric SUV, from Hyundai, the Ioniq 7. It'll sit alongside the Palisade as a family mover. Anyways, that's a pretty interesting take. And I've got one more topic to cover today. We're going to talk a little bit about the true cost of Japan's bullet train. Now, this is kind of interesting because while this isn't necessarily talking so much, talk mostly about electric cars, this is something a little bit different. The bullet train can reach 500 kilometers per hour. That's a little faster than 300. It's scheduled to link Tokyo to Nagoya in 40 minutes, Osaka in 67 minutes. Which would beat the current bullet train that's running one of those by about 50 minutes and an hour and a half on the other. The private company behind the project claims that the linear will bring huge economic benefits by bolstering Japanese industry, particularly if the technology gets exported abroad. Now, this is traveling as fast pretty much as an airplane. Now, since construction began in 2014, many Japanese residents have only seen its rising costs with few of the anticipated advantages. Japanese taxpayers are asked to foot a large part of the staggering 9 trillion yen, which this is about 60 billion US dollars. In 2016, the administration lent the company an astounding the equivalent of 20 billion US of ultra low interest long-term loans from state funds. The local governments and taxpayers are shouldering the bills for constructing new trains for the linear. Let's see, the average cost for station buildings alone is about $236 million per building. That's a steep price per pay, even though they admitted that the maglev won't turn a profit domestically, but will rather mainly be used to sell Japanese technology abroad. For instance, while its supporters highlight the train's clean and EV, can you hear me now, Bill?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Sorry,
good.
folks, my computer crashed.
Well, I will tell you, I've had strange tech things going on. Maybe there has been a solar flare or something. You just,
It could be, who knows?
you know, um, 90% of the linear journey from Tokyo to Osaka will be entirely underground.
Yeah,
70 kilometers pass directly underneath the pristine wilderness of the Japanese Alps. Wow, that 90% underground. That's really hard to believe. So you're going to be
yeah, I think
traveling 300
70%,
miles
wasn't it?
per hour. Yeah, 300 miles per hour underground. Now, this is producing massive amounts of soil and dirt waste, some of which is contaminated with toxic chemicals such as arsenic and mercury, and almost all of which will have no decided use or storage location. It is estimated that tunnel construction will produce 56.8 million cubic meters of dirt, and only a fraction of this can be reused. Most is being used to fill in gorges and river valleys. Hmm. Interesting to see what they've got going on there. Now,
Yeah, I thought thing to me, of course, besides all the budgetary overruns and everything else, is the fact that they mentioned that from an energy efficiency point of view, to run that maglev system is actually requires, I think it said 4 times the amount of energy that is required to run the current bullet train system. And the current bullet train system is really fast. I've ridden it and it's awesome. We don't have anything in this country even can approach that system. So I don't, is it smart? You're going to save, you're going to get there in 50 minutes or whatever the travel time was at that speed, as opposed to the amount of energy it takes. That's a question in my mind, at least.
Now, here's something that's kind of interesting. Stellantis has decided to start making fuel cell vans
Mm-hmm.
in Poland and France using hydrogen, which I find that kind of to be fascinating, but I don't know what
What
to
was it?
really
I think
make of that.
5 models or 7 models, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure here. That one was not. Let's see.
They had. I mean, this goes back, better than a decade ago. They rolled out postal vans in France that used fuel cells in conjunction, so almost like a plug-in hybrid, except
Mhm.
instead of an internal combustion engine, it was a fuel cell. They did that to give their postal vehicles in rural France longer range, because
Well,
at that
that's
particular time, the batteries only version of their postal van, which was built by Renault, I think, um, just wasn't up to the job for rural French delivery.
well, Daimler's been making buses in Germany that were on that technology. It was a hybrid
Oh
with a
yeah,
hydrogen fuel
very early
cell.
on, 20 years ago, basically.
Right. Mhm. And let's see. Toyota is the 24 Toyota Mirai fuel cell EV is priced from 51,000, and so this is probably, oh, it's only going to be sold in California and Hawaii. Has
Which is where they
182
have,
horsepower.
which is where they have chart refueling stations.
Right, I understand. There's like
Yeah,
50 hydrogen fueling stations in the United States, and 49 of them are in California or
yeah,
something
something like
ridiculous like
that.
that.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
quite, but yeah.
yeah. Here's
Well,
what
the
that.
interesting thing mentioning Hawaii, by the way, is they have turned off their last remaining coal-fired power plant. And now they're relying strictly on battery storage provided by, can you name the company?
Well, hopefully not Solyndra. No, I don't
No,
know.
Tesla.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah. They
that's
got a
pretty
huge
fascinating.
battery storage system provided by Tesla, and they have officially turned off their last coal fired power plant.
Let's see what we got here. It's kind of interesting.
Well, did I miss much when I was rebooting the computer?
No, no, not
Okay.
terribly. That it was just frightful being alone in the studio. But yeah, yeah, yeah. So Hawaii's replaced. So
There it
here
is.
is
Yep.
there is the battery storage facility.
Yep.
Wow, they limited 180 megawatts of fossil fueled baseload. So let's see. And so they switched to a portfolio of small and large renewables that run off the vagaries of the weather. This is quite interesting. So the plant's 185 megawatts of instantaneous discharge capacity match what the old coal power plant could inject into the grid. The batteries react quicker. Instead of generating power, they absorb it from the grid, ideally when it's flush with renewable generation, and deliver what cheap, clean power back in the evening hours when it's desperately needed. It feels incredibly part of what Hawaii and Hawaiian Electric are doing to get to 100% renewable energy and to play this enabling role to help them get one step closer. I'd be curious what their breakdown is of wind, solar, hydro, nuclear. I don't know. Do they have nuclear in Hawaii?
No, they do not. Not to
Let's
my knowledge.
let me see. It can reduce curtailment of renewables by 69% for the first 5 years, allowing surplus clean energy that would otherwise go to waste to get onto the grid. So apparently they have an oversupply of both.
Yeah, I
Sweet.
saw an article, interestingly, that, and I think this was in England, that they were paying utility or wind farm operators quite a bit of money. And I think I saw a figure of like $1 million or whatever it was to turn off their wind turbines at particular times when the wind was generating more than the grid could
Oh,
handle.
wow.
So it would seem to be that would make a case to for them to follow suit here.
That's really amazing. So Hawaii's had very high rooftop solar adoption too.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not the same. People always talk about, will the grid be overloaded or can the grid handle everything? Well, part of it is as people have their own mini grids at home, that takes away a lot of the need for it. But anyways, Bill, that was all I had to cover today. So hopefully
Oh
next
well,
week we'll have better
I have
operating.
to. I do now have a new electric vehicle,
Oh yeah?
battery powered electric vehicle.
Oh, that's right, the drone.
It's a little drone about that big, and finally got warm enough here, and enough of the snow melted that
Mhm.
I was able to take it out in my driveway and fly it for the first time, and didn't hit anything. I tried a couple times to do it in the house, and that didn't go so well.
Oh, that's not good. That's not
So
good.
I waited until the weather got nicer and went out and flew it above the driveway, took it up, I don't know, 50 meters or something like that, and brought it back down and didn't break anything. So,
How far away from you can it go? What is the range you
well,
can do in
I
total?
think it's something like half a mile. I don't. It really depends. No, to be honest, I don't know. You're supposed to legally, you're supposed to keep it within eyesight.
Okay.
And this is so small that probably get out half a mile, you wouldn't see it.
Does it have a screen? Does it feed back video back to you
Oh
and
yeah, right onto this.
oh, onto your phone?
That's my
Okay.
controller, and it's got a beautiful little camera, and it sends back video, and it captures video, and it's got a little controller thing that the phone sits in, and it's great. It's fun.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, anyways, folks, thanks for watching. Sorry we had some technical difficulties today.
Yeah, my apologies.
Please leave us a
Okay.
comment if you'd like to see something different. And anyways, have a great day.